Hey there, how are you doing? This is Nurse Kat from NCLEX Mastery, which is now MyNursingMastery. And since it's a little different, I wanted to take a chance to show you around since we can't be together in person. So this is your My Mastery page. And from here, you can search for anything that you need. It's going to come up and tell you whether your search results landed in a question, a clinical topic, or maybe it's in a video, and it's going to tell you that and let you navigate straight to it. It's going to let you continue from wherever you left off last. So if it's been a few days since you've been in the service and you can't remember what you were working on, it's going to let you do that as well. Quick links. So all of your questions, quizzes, you can get to that kind of stuff from here. You can also get to your bookmarks. So if you found a couple of clinical topics that are just super relevant to what you're doing in your clinical or in your day-to-day work, you can bookmark those and they'll be here for your future use. And then we also have discussions, and I don't think any of our competitors do this, but on questions, you can go through and make comments on those. Now, other people who are using our service can answer. However, if it gets to a point where other people aren't answering you correctly or aren't answering you well, then one of us nurses is going to jump in and answer the question that you have around the item that you're working on. We also have featured expert picks and various things for you to watch and listen that we work every week to suggest for you based on what we've got coming in new from our various partners like Simple Nursing, Visual Nurse, Fresh RN, and some of those folks. So we're constantly putting some of those in here. This one happens to be from ICU Advantage. Now, your trusted NCLEX prep is going to be right here. Again, you can search whatever you need from this screen as well. Your performance metrics are here. So anything that you don't know, somewhat know, all those things that you've marked on each question is going to be right here for you. And then you can see your performance by category. So it looks like Med-Surg. I haven't answered 826 of those yet. So no matter what my percentage correct is here, I've still got a lot to learn inside these categories. And you can follow the arrow, of course, to see the breakdown of those categories as well. And as you can see, inside of each one, it's going to tell you how many questions you've said you do know, how many you don't know, and how many you somewhat know. And anytime that you've guessed at a question, it's in your best interest to mark it as somewhat know so that you can go back later and quiz yourself on those and make sure you do, in fact, know the answers. Now, you're also going to be able to go in and look at our simulations. So we have 175 questions that are designed to make the NCLEX look like a breeze and to make it super familiar to you. So when you go into that simulation, any of them, you're going to find your time remaining ticking down in the corner. You're going to find how many questions you are, what question number you're on, and then, of course, your calculator. And it's going to look just like the NCLEX. Now, you can do these as many times as you want. Just know that after the first time, all you're doing is getting familiar with the format of the test, okay? These questions are not adaptive. This is for an experience so that you can feel comfortable when you look at the NCLEX when you sit to take boards. Now, a couple of things that we do here that our competitors don't do. First of all, you can take the simulations as many times as you want. So if you just need that familiarity over and over and over, you can totally do that. The other thing we're going to do, in addition to giving you a probability of passing your NCLEX, we're going to send you a breakdown of what you've done well with and what you haven't done well with. But maybe more importantly, we're going to give you rationales for each of these questions when you get done too. So you get through the 25, you get through the 75 item simulation, and then you're going to be able to look and see what you did or didn't do well with. What we typically suggest is that people have about a 60% average of doing great in the app, and you really need at least a 50% of doing great inside of these simulations, and you'll get that raw score in addition to your probability of passing, and you just have to take it with a grain of salt. If you haven't done very many questions inside the service or inside of another service that you're using, then that can definitely alter how confident you should feel going into the exam. Now, back on your NCLEX page, you're going to get a daily goal tracker that you can set. You're going to get the date, all the things, all the tools that you need to create a good study plan for you. And then, of course, our NCLEX questions, our quizzes that are broken down to help you solidify what you learned inside of the questions. You can build custom quizzes. Honestly, this is one of my favorite features. You can build these ahead of time, and you can build them out of whatever content that you need. So if you know that you're going to be studying hematology next week, let's say you're going to do hematology and integumentary for some reason, right? Well, let's say you also know that you're going to be at a ball game this weekend and that you're going to have 20 minutes to play with. So you can go in and build yourself a custom quiz and set those categories, set the number of questions you think you can do inside of that time limit, and then just save it. And when you actually have that time that you've planned for, you can just go in and take your quiz and get some real focused studying done. And then, of course, we have various supplements, and you'll find these in other places inside of the app as well for some of them. So dosage practice, strategies, we have those in the library as well for you. Then we have practice, which is part of our base package for the MyNursingMastery platform. And here you can get anything from anatomy and physiology, assuming you're maybe in your A&P courses, or maybe starting your patho courses and need a refresher, or even if you're in your advanced courses and need some basic anatomy and physiology work. Lots of fill-in-the-blank dosage questions, so you can practice that. There's critical care, there's OB, all kinds of things, including just your basic household conversions and that kind of stuff. So lots of practice questions here. They are simpler than our NCLEX questions, but the purpose is different. So these are good for, if you're in a new clinical area and you just want to drill and kill and do some review stuff. If you're just trying to get ready for one of your classroom tests, this should be a good help for you. And then we have just standard mnemonics, flashcards for you to do some flipping through and get familiar with some certain diseases, drugs, that kind of thing. Clinical topics and skills that are kind of specific for our student levels, or if you're going into a new area. And then learning modules and interactive cases. Interactive case studies is going to allow you to make errors in a safe environment just like you would in simulation. You're going to get rationales for different choices for why they were right or wrong, and you can go back through those as many times as you like. So you can pick the wrong answer on purpose just to see why it was wrong, and then go back through and understand the scenario more deeply. So we've got several of those and a variety of topics. Then our library, where you're going to find simple tools like our disease index and interactive anatomy and things, where we've partnered with Biodigital to bring just some really nice animated models so that you can zoom in and look around. Hansen's Anatomy, they've done some really nice artwork about various anatomy processes and certain disease processes. So that's all in there for you to look at. School strategies, our mastery class that teaches you how to take NCLEX style questions, teaches you what the NCLEX is even about. New grad survival, so just basics on even how to interview we've got in there from Fresh RN. Our RN core content, an ICU crash course, which we have done a lot of work in-house to bring you, in addition to some of our partners like with ICU Advantage. some specialty nursing areas. We also have a partnership with the wound care and ostomy nurse folks, so we're bringing you great stuff in there directly from the folks that do the certification for wound care. So if that's something that you're interested in, we also have those applications in a separate part of our service that you can certainly look at and purchase if that's something that you're interested in. We have an ACLS service, so any of those kinds of specialties. If you go to Higher Learning Technologies inside of the App Store, you're going to find that we've partnered with somebody to bring you all of those, trauma care, certified nurse educator, all of those kinds of things we have available outside of this particular app. Now, all of this is, of course, available on mobile. This is just, I think the web version is really pretty. And for some of our more complex and more fun to use features, the web service just tends to be a lot more fun, I think. And then we also have the clinical guide. So for whether you're in a clinical area, whether you're a nurse transitioning into a different care area, we've got all of these things here for you. And it's written by nurses for nurses. So it's not going to be the lengthy things that you'll find in some of the services that you have available on the floor. These are real direct, real to the point, very simplified ways to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you should do it. And this took a few years in the making to make it great, and we're still adding more things, doing additional topics for you. You've got crash cart overview, and you can actually go through each one of the drawers and look and see what should be available in those drawers. So if that's something that you're trying to get familiar with. And that's just one area of our clinical guide. So we cover everything from immunizations to obstetrics to case management and fluid compatibilities, just almost anything you could think of you're going to find in here. So I hope you've enjoyed this tour of MyNursingMastery. If you would like some more detail in any one of these areas, feel free to contact us, and we'll see what we can do. And I hope you have a great day.